Well, welcome to another Rooster Talk. Today we've got Scott Williamson here joining us on our Margaret River series, which is really to celebrate 2 years of Samso. Here down at the Island Brook Estate in the Yulverton, Margaret River region. Scott, give us an update on what's been happening in your stock. I can see it's surging like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks, Noel. Yeah, I suppose it's what I can say is that it's probably well overdue, and we'll obviously talk through why it's running. But yeah, great to be here again. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, in terms of the Vietnamese nickel mine, I guess I can see there's a lot of results come through since the last time we spoke. Is it a case of you guys just having to drill it out, or is there still trying to figure things out geologically?
Yeah, so we obviously did the deal on the Vietnam asset over 12 months ago, and we went to the first ore body and drilled that out as quick as we could, which was the big, large disseminated ore body called Ban Phuc, and then we made the King Cobra discovery while we were drilling that out. It wasn't really until we started hitting the massive sulfide that the market really woke up, and what I believe is that I think that's probably put the limelight on what we've been doing, obviously more recently, but then I think the market's now realised that what we actually achieved in the first 12 months is probably just as significant or maybe even more significant, and we'll be able to show that in the maiden resource and the scoping study. So yeah, it's I think it's a combination of all of those things just coming together at once.
I noticed that you announced a discovery at the Viper. I think you guys call it the Viper prospect. I said, is that part of the main body?
No, so what happened with Viper is with Ban Chang, we knew that there was a couple of zones. There was the east and the west zone, and so we did the electromagnetics across those two zones, and we kept extending it further to the east, and then we found this Viper zone, which there had no outcrop and no signs of mineralization on surface. So the Viper zone is what we're calling a blind discovery, and because it was not known by the previous operators, but we just continued the EM going through that eastern zone, and then we went back with the trenching afterwards, and we've discovered nickel sulfides on surface. So it's a blind discovery. It's exciting because of the 25 targets that we have, they're all outcropping targets. So we've now got the opportunity to find, I suppose, nickel sulfide mineralization that's not outcropping, and that's what the Viper discovery is it's one of these blind discoveries. So we think there'll be more of those opportunities as well.
Is the geology consistent with what you think it's in the area?
Yeah, so Viper, the rocks are saying nickel and copper. So we've I suppose not assayed yet, but that was from the Niton. So it most likely will have some cobalt, platinum, palladium as well. So yeah, very similar geology, but it must be just another part of the sequence and maybe another structure that the magmatic fluids have chased. So yeah, it's all the same sort of stuff. Until we get the assays, it'll most likely be similar to Ban Chang, but it might have a slightly different chemistry. We'll have to see when we get the assays.
I know when we first spoke, obviously I liked the Ban Chang and the whole concept of you having all those multiple targets there. You guys must be secretly feeling optimistic in terms of finding more, because obviously Viper, to me, from a desktop geologist point of view, when there's smoke, there's fire, but when there's fire, there's going to be more fires. That whole strike that you have there. I know you mentioned you got 25. You sort of known 25 prospects. Are you guys? No, I can see that you're doubling your drilling. And what I'm trying to ask is, are you guys just going through a drilling phase, or are you still trying to figure things out in terms of geology and potential, structures that could offset what you think's there?
Yeah, so Ban Chang is moving into a drill out phase, but at the same time, we will continue the EM crews through the rest of those 25 targets. So we've got the EM crew up at Ta Khoa, just testing that one, which is the second target, and then they'll move over to Ban Phuc, and so we'll just systematically step through the belt But as we find something that's worth drilling out, like Ban Chang, then we drill it out as quickly as possible because we need to feed that into the studies. So the ongoing study work will include the ore bodies as we drill them out. So the PFS, which is starting very soon, that'll include Ban Chang and further King Cobra drilling. So what we need to do is, as we find mineralization that we think is worth drilling out, like Ban Chang, then we need to drill it out as quickly as possible and then feed it back into the mine plan, which is happening through that study work. So it's sort of a dual path of exploration with our EM crews moving around and drill rigs, I suppose, following them up. But also, as we find things, we need to drill them out quickly because we need to throw them into the mine plan. So yeah, it's a bit of a, I suppose the other thing is that we are learning as we go because each of those 25 targets is as good as the others. So it's very difficult to prioritize because it's massive sulfide outcropping at surface. Until you put some holes into it, you actually don't know what it's going to deliver. So what it shows on surface could be something completely different once you start drilling it at depth. So yeah, we are still learning, but very, I suppose focused on drilling these things out as quickly as possible and adding them into the mine plan.
It's just really fortunate. I mean, the fact that you guys are doing so much work, and at a time like this, a lot of these overseas type projects have an issue in terms of trying to get people on the ground and people working. Sounds like you guys got all that sorted out, and because the fact that you're doing so much work tells me that you guys have that sorted.
Yeah, and the great part about working in Vietnam is there's an established mining industry and established service providers. So we can bring in geologists and metallurgists and mining engineers as required. So we've got a very, I suppose, strong labour force that we can pull on, and that's what we've done. And so we have the 3 rigs at Ban Chang, another 3 rigs at King Cobra. If we ever require more geos, we can just employ more, and they're very strong and very capable geologists. And so yeah, we're very lucky that we're in a situation where the government of Vietnam's been very good at I suppose cracking down on the virus and locking it down, and we don't have any issues with the virus at all, and we've got a very strong labour force as well. So it's a very self-sufficient opportunity for us.
I guess touching on what you just mentioned before, that you've got so much upside opportunities, new projects, and that yet at the same time you're trying to define your feasibility, your mining plan. What's the time frame? I mean, how are you guys are you gonna sort of slow down on exploration and focus on your mining plan?
No, not at all. So we believe that we've drilled out the first ore body at Ban Phuc, which is the maiden resource, which is due this quarter. That will then be put straight into the scoping study, which is also out this quarter. But then we're very focused on moving to the PFS level and delivering that as soon as possible. And whatever we drill out in time for the PFS will then be included. So we won't slow down either of those paths. If anything, we're probably increasing exploration because we want to unlock the geology quicker. So if we can double the amount of capacity, which we've just done, we can unlock that geology in half the time. So yeah, instead of it taking 2 years, hopefully we can unlock this whole belt within maybe hopefully 12 months, and then that will give us time to feed it into the mine plan and in time before we restart the mine. So looking to restart the mine after a very long year of studies next year. So 2021 is a big year of study. So bankable study after the pre-feasibility study. And then 2022 is the year where we start to really look at restarting the mine and then feeding into what is a real supply crunch coming from the demand required for the lithium-ion battery in 2023.
In terms of like you're restarting to mine and things like that, is I know we touched on the fact that you got people sort of drilling it out and on that side. From the mining side of things, is it going to be a challenge for you to bring those guys in? Because obviously leading up to the ramp up and things like that, it's a big process, right?
Yeah, so the other thing about the being an established mining industry, we have established mining service providers. So we can bring on local mining contractors, local engineering firms. We can do a lot of this rebuild with in-country expertise, and we will bring in experts from the Western world, but most of that hard work will actually be done by local contractors and service providers. So yeah, the ability to get things done is as good as we've seen anywhere, and so we can yeah, we can use local people for a lot of that restart.
Touching on your partner, EcoPro, I mean, have you get any feedback from them? Are they happy with what you guys are doing, and they got some bright ideas on how to complete that offtake side of things?
Yeah, so they obviously happy with the share price. They got in at 17 cents and they paid a significant premium at the time. Obviously, they're not in it for the share price appreciation. So it's a very much focused on the joint venture partnership, which is to build the downstream processing facility. And so the idea is that together we'll build that partnership over the coming months, and we have regular meetings around what that looks like from a technical but also a commercial perspective. So remembering that they're bringing their skill sets to the table as well as the funding. So we're looking at a 50-50 joint venture partnership where we bring the skills from the mining industry, they bring the skills from the battery cathode or chemical engineering industries, and together we meet in the middle, and it's a true partnership. We bring some funding, they bring their funding, we bring experts, they bring their experts, and we build it together. So yeah, they're very happy, and they're very happy that we're going to build this together, and it's going to be yeah, it's a great result. It'll be a great result for both industries.
If we were going to, draw a line and put some marks on the thing in terms of timeline, what's your, 10-second spiel on what this timeline looks like for you? Plan A, I assume things change over time, but what's plan A on the timeline?
Yeah, so plan A is to get out the scoping study and show the market what we've got, and that's this quarter. So we're still on track for that. And then we want to move as quickly as possible to the pre-feasibility study, which we're hoping to release in Q1 next year. Bankable study by Q4 next year. And then so plan A is we're actually rebuilding a mine in 2022, and it's a 12 to 18 month build phase. So yeah, it's we're all on track for that, and yeah, we're going to have to gear up pretty soon to build a mine, and yeah, we're looking at what we do from a I suppose hiring perspective as we speak.
I'm making an assumption here that the funding for you in going forward is not going to be a problem. Would that be a fair comment?
Well, yeah, I suppose we've gone from, I think, 20 million market cap not that long ago to over 120 million now, which is a great position for us to be in because we can now access the capital and get on with it. And so, yeah, we're happy that the capital markets have finally, I suppose, caught up with where we're at. And so, yeah, it's a great position to be in because the last thing we want to do is have the capital markets slowing things down, and I suppose that's what EcoPro have also indicated, that they're very happy that we now have the ability to match them with our partnership. So as far as providing our part of the equity component of that downstream facility.
I mean, you're a man of sort of been embracing the marketing and things like that. When your company's at this stage and you've got a very buoyant market, do you still see the marketing as a big part of the process? Getting known and things like that?
Yeah, I think clearly we've sort of moved past that point of being known now. It's starting to feel like we're becoming known. So I think the next stage of marketing is about continuous disclosure and continuing to tell the story as it plays out. So that'll be a really important part of our marketing going forward is actually showing the market exactly what we're up to, and so that the market can follow closely. And that's been a big part of I suppose of our re-rate, is the fact that we've made made it very open and clear the steps that we're looking to take, and as those steps play out, then it's important to show that to the market. But I suppose, yeah, we've done a lot of hard work as far as investor relations and marketing to get the name out there, but we'll never stop. And I suppose, as you know, it's probably the most important part of my role is telling the story, and so I don't see myself stopping that anytime soon.
And on the same topic, in terms of like where we're at, you know, obviously COVID's put a mess in a lot of these investor relation process. I'd like to get your view on how you see, or your advice to other companies, because obviously, you know, you've been very, very proactive. How they should be doing, you know, or challenging the challenges that we have now. What could they do to overcome those issues?
Yeah, so I think even before the virus, there was a move away from traditional conferences and face-to-face meetings, and a movement towards online and video, and I think that's really what you saw as an opportunity 2 years ago now, and we've sort of come along that journey at the same time as Samso, and so we've just had our biggest re-rate the company's ever had, and I haven't left this desk for 6 months. And so it just shows that all that flying around that I did last year, maybe it helped the re-rate, but maybe it didn't. So I think it just shows what you can do online these days is probably more powerful than actually getting on a plane and flying around the world and doing face-to-face meetings. So yeah, we haven't stopped those meetings. They're just obviously through the screen now, but probably doing more than we ever have, but haven't had to leave sunny Perth. So we're pretty happy with that.
Yeah. So, you know, look, Scott, I mean, I think we did our first Coffee Samso probably almost 12 months ago now. And you know, you guys have gone leaps and bounds. If you, again, you know, I'd like to finish with you know, your thoughts to shareholders or potential shareholders. You know, why buy your stock? Why hold on to your stock? And what's your holy grail at the end?
Yeah, so I think one of the key things that we can deliver, and that's exactly what Elon Musk came out the other day and asked for, and that's green nickel. So there's not many nickel companies out there that can say that their nickel is green, and we're confident ours will be some of the greenest nickel you'll see in the market. And the reason is we've got the hydropower plant in Sonla, and so it's a renewable power source that we're already hooked into on site. And we're looking at a hydrometallurgical process which is much cleaner than the pyromet process, which is used for the stainless steel industry. So we've got a clean and green nickel downstream product for the lithium-ion battery industry, and we've got one of the biggest players in the market on our side, and that's EcoPro, and they're going to take us all the way. So I don't think there's anyone else in the market that can deliver that, and that's what the market's starting to wake up to, and I think that's why you want to own Blackstone in the coming months.
All right, mate. Thanks again. Always a pleasure to have a chat. You know, it's a continuing journey, and thank you for participating with Samso on this in this series. Hoping one day we'll see you in the dollar mark.
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yep. All right. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Noel.